Just got back from family reunion yesterday afternoon sometime, and you know how a lot of people, they say when they leave and then they come back that they come back to these huge vegetables in their garden. Well, I came back to just about a nearly dead garden. So I have been out here today, this morning, after I watered, probably gave my plants about 10 gallons of water last night before bed. But anyway, so I've been out here pruning these plants. When I left, I had taken a picture and you couldn't even see the sun through this greenery. It was just beautiful dark green greenery before I left, and like I said, that heat just zapped it, I guess. They didn't have enough water. I don't know if you can see, like this just here almost just looks brown. I cut a few of those off, and I also, when I started pruning, found a couple of overgrown cucumbers. So those usually go to the chickens, or I'm going to give them to the rabbits, I think. I'm going to give them the, you know, these here that got just way too big. And then the rest, I plan on doing some pickles pretty soon, and I'll do a video on that. The towers are looking pretty good still. The herbs look great. These cucumbers, they look all right, but they looked near death yesterday when I got home too. So I gave them a ton of water and did a little bit of pruning on them too. The eggplant looked pretty good. They actually look like they've grown some. And we have this new growth here, and there's a bunch of new ones coming on. So, and this one is needs to be cut probably. Looks pretty, beautiful purple. And we have a baby frog. Hello. Hi there, little frogger. And the peppermint looks great. Cantaloupe actually looks better too. Looks pretty good. But I went ahead and gave them probably about 10 gallons of water too when I got back. Some of the tomatoes, and I actually came back to a bunch of ripe tomatoes. So I pulled a bunch of tomatoes off and took them inside. I started a new squash plant there. And I'm not trying to be, you know, overly dramatic or anything, but when I got home, my heart just filled to my stomach, you know. This looks pretty good. See, I think there's some squash. There's one squash. It looks like we've got some babies coming along. These are Anaheim peppers here, and oh, this will just be perfect for our salsa. I think I'm going to make some zucchini salsa today. Try and do this one-handed. Oh, that's just beautiful. So here is some of what I harvested. I think that there's a lot of cucumbers down at the bottom, and I think that I'll go ahead and make some pickles out of those. And then the rest of this stuff I'm either going to cut up and freeze, or, you know, we could eat this for supper or something like that. But the peppers I'm definitely just going to cut up and freeze. And then the tomatoes, you know, I toss the tomatoes into the freezer so that we can make some sauce later on. I'm just cutting the bloom end off of here, and I'm putting them in this bowl, and I'm going to soak them in some salt brine until I can get to them to make my pickles. If you guys are interested in this brine, the salt brine that I use, I can share with you real quick what I do. I use a quart jar, and I fill it with very warm water, and then what I'll do is add 3/4 cups of salt. And I use this pickling salt or canning salt here. You just want to use a good quality salt, and you just mix that up, your warm water and your salt in here, and stir it up until it's dissolved, really good and dissolved. After that, what you'll do is you'll add some really cold water to equal 2 gallons. That is the recipe. I'm just using a half batch right now because I don't have a whole lot of cucumbers here. And you want some really good quality cucumbers. You know, if right off the vine is what you want to use. You don't want to use ones that have been sitting around for a while. Just use those, you know, in a salad or something. But you'll cut your bloom end off, just like that, on all of them. Just cut the bloom end off. And then you'll just put those in your bowl of your salt brine, weigh them down with whatever you have. You can put a plate on top or whatever, and then you'll just keep them in your fridge. You can even add to them as you go along, but they can sit in there for up to 7 days. So that's what I do until I am ready to make my pickles to keep my cucumbers fresh. I didn't have a plate that would fit right inside this small bowl. So I do have this lid, and I'm just gonna place that on top of them And I have these fermenting weights that I have. You can use whatever you want to weigh these down, but I'm gonna just weigh that down with those. And then I just set these in my refrigerator until I am ready to use them. Now you don't have to cover this, but I am going to, just because there are 6 of us in the household and I don't want any accidents. As far as my herbs go, I just top them off, and if I'm not going to use them fresh in any dishes, I just kind of, cut them off and just let them set on a plate or wherever. I have a big table of my vegetables sitting over there in the window, but I'll just let those dry, and then when they're dried up, I just, pick off the leaves, and then I'll store them like that. In the past, I would have so many herbs, and I would get big bushels, and I'd hang them upside down and things like that. But this season, I grew them in those dollar stackers. That's the only herbs that I grew, was what you see in those Dollar Tree stackers out there. So I'm not getting a whole bunch, but I have a ton in the pantry. So anyway, that's how I do it. So as far as these bell peppers that I have, just a few that I got, I'm just cutting these up and I'm gonna throw them into the freezer. No blanching or anything like that. Just throw them in the freezer in a Ziploc baggie and they're good to go whenever you're ready to use them in meals. So the salsa that I'm making is zucchini salsa. This isn't going to be like one that I cook on the stove and can it or anything like that. This is just going to be a fresh salsa, almost like a pico de gallo type of salsa. It is absolutely my favorite. It has fresh ingredients. It's going to taste just wonderful. It will last probably in your fridge for up to about 7 days. It won't last that long here. It'll probably be gone tonight. I'm only going to make probably like a double serving. And so anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm peeling this zucchini. You can use smaller ones. A lot of people prefer smaller ones because they don't have, the seeds don't get too big, but personally I love the seeds. That's just me. But anyway, so I'm just gonna peel this. I'm gonna cut it like this and then I'll probably give it a rough chop. I don't have an exact recipe for this salsa, but I will put in the description below how I did it, how much I used and everything like that. I'm kind of going by my dad's salsa recipe. I don't even know if he has a recipe, but I go by how he makes it. He makes the very best salsa. I'm going by kind of what he puts in his, give or take a few ingredients. I went ahead and rinsed these off, even though they're right out of the garden. These are Cherokee Purple. They're absolutely beautiful. I decided to go ahead and salt this zucchini just a little bit so that it'll start sweating down. This is pink Himalayan salt. I just want to say that you can use whatever tomatoes you have. You can use cherry tomatoes for this. Beef steak, I'm using Cherokee Purple. This is what I have, just absolutely beautiful. But you can use whatever tomatoes you have from the farmer's market, your garden, from the grocery store, from, whatever you have, use what you got. You could probably even just use a can of diced tomatoes if that's what you have. Now I'm just adding in some green onions. Use whatever onions you have. If you have purple onions, regular onion, use those. Here's that beautiful Anaheim pepper that I picked out of there. I'm gonna add this banana pepper in there, just because, why not? It's gonna be so good. It already smells fantastic. Now then, I'd prefer to have a freshly squeezed lime, but I don't have one at the moment, so I'm going to use this lime juice. I probably have like a half a cap here. Give that a stir. Now, if you watch my videos, you know that I freeze my cilantro as it comes in. I have a video to show you how I do that. But I freeze my cilantro, and I'm just gonna pick some off of here and drop it right in the bowl. This has only been sitting for probably about 5 minutes. It's already has, you know, those juices. Everything is mingling. You could put beans in here. You can put corn. You can put whatever you want to. But this is just my basic zucchini salsa. And if you guys give it a try, let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments if you like it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let that sit in the fridge until dinner tonight. It is just going to be wonderful. I've already taken a few bites of this, and it's absolutely delicious. I've got a couple of organic avocados. I'm going to make guacamole and put some of the salsa in it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I have so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the salsa. Let me know if you give it a try. If you're new to our channel, please consider subscribing. Just hit that subscribe button and come back and see us soon. You guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.